that that was the truth. Is that correct?
That Ted suspected it, and that it was murder, not accident.
Right.
And that JF Jr. was a better pilot than people gave him credit for, and because he had a bad leg, and because they wanted him to feel safe and be there and get to the family affairs in one piece, there was another pilot involved. And Teddy Kennedy was trying to find out how he could and go through the back records, who had flown with him before, and the people that was contacted that day about going, and that one pilot couldn't go and another one might, and so they were waiting for who would show up. Now, Teddy Kennedy suspected that. Now, I want to tell you that it's very possible that a lot of Kennedys have been murdered. And I found out by being a veteran, spending time at the Veterans Hospital, going through my own illnesses and my military aches and pains, that I was seeing young soldiers for the last few years down there, and they would have across their head a big scar, cleaning back and opening them up and then trying to grow hair back over it. And I asked them, what happened? And they say, oh, I think my immune system went down, and I think it was caused from getting the shots going overseas. And they're saying, oh no, couldn't be. But here I am talking to them when I would see them, suspecting this, because I'm not just a UFO researcher. I'm like my own private eye. And if I see something that smells like it, looks like it, sounds like it, I suspect it is. Now, these people, every one of them had brain tumor. And there's been like 10 of them that I have talked to in the last 4 years with a scar or same area. Mm. Now, that's pretty suspicious to start with. My son was in Mexico getting treatment from a contaminated serum shot that Kaiser had gave him. And there was a point when he got so bad that they said, you got 2 weeks to live. We rushed him down to a clinic that said they'd try to treat him in another way. And we did. And 10 hours of hot driving, I was in the border with my son checking in. And they kept it for 2.5 months and treated his immune system and gave him help. When he was there, a man came down for immune treatment and trying to treat a brain tumor. And he was in the Iraqi war. They gave him the shots and the stuff. And then when he was over there, they said, well, we don't know what the records are, and you're in this area now. You're going to have to take him over. And they gave him to him again. And then a couple months later, he was in another area. They looked him up and says, well, we need to give you the shots. He says, already got them. They says, well, we don't show it in the record. So they were guinea pigging him and gave him more shots. Now, Kennedy, I find out that they're hiding it like they did Agent Orange. Mm-hmm. And they had to fight and then get the soldiers' rights and the veterans' rights. A lot of brain tumors and a lot of illnesses and psychotic things coming back. And they're not treating our vets right. They're doing less for them and they're hiding it. I'm down there. I see what they do with me. I see what they're doing with other people. And I'm ashamed of my government for the way they treat our vets. And sometimes they help you real good, sometimes they don't help you at all. And I want to tell you that Ted Kennedy was healthy, went over to Iraq to visit the troops, took all the shots, and then came down with a brain tumor. Let's see, what could it possibly be? Did they kill another Kennedy? Or did they not? I'm not the detective that can get in there and get the information, but somewhere in the world, people ought to be able to find out how much shots he took, when he took them, how many times did they give them, and that they deliberately know it was causing brain tumors, and if they gave too much or a certain load of it, certain types, they could give you a brain tumor. Now, I'm sorry that there is a lot of evil and a lot of corruption in our world. I can't stop it, but if I find some of it, I can talk about it, and it may likely get me killed. But you know, I'd rather die telling the truth than living a lie.
So do you think...
Now, if those people that are in your audience think I'm lying, then let them and you pay for a lie detector test. We'll get it. We'll put it on the show, and we'll find out who's telling the truth.
So, with all this information that you have, do you think it's too late? I mean, you know, a lot of people are coming forward now. Do you think it's too late for the human race to change things?
The other things that I know about and what's going on, I would say it could be too late. But if people will organize, stop supporting the corrupt government that's lying to us, the senators that are voting against our food and the right to have a garden and that, kick every one of them out on the next election. Keep the ones in that voted for us. Throw the other ones out, no matter how good you think they are. Get rid of Obama, because I don't think he's one of us.
No,
If people say he's a hybrid or he's a bad person just going to take the country down, I think he's been programmed, and he's doing what they want. He's not doing what the people want. For example, I'm not the president, but if I was, and the banks were in trouble, and people owed money and mortgages, I would have got people and said, look, let's cut a deal. We'll make a mortgage to you from the government that will be paid for your mortgage to the banks. You will now owe the government payments, but we'll lessen those payments and give you a longer period so you can make them. And then that would have rescued the banks, and it would have rescued the homeowners and the people that are on the street now. And no, that didn't happen. The program that Bush started, Obama followed up on. So he's their yes man. And so whoever they give you for an election to vote for is, do they want their right hand to control you or their left hand to control you? And they make the same promises every year and do the same things. Now, automobile companies getting bailed out and getting money to where you could buy a new car and turn in your old junker car and stimulate the automobile sales and burn that oil-burning clunker, okay? Most people that have real oil-burning clunkers don't have credit. They don't have money to put down to get a car, to stimulate it, to do it. So if they would have said, okay, we will take in X amount of cars, and if they're fair and you trade them in and stimulate the vehicles sales, then we will have the people with no credit and junk cars that are smoking and their trash wagons that need to get their kids to school and to work and not doing a good job of it. They can take that car and exchange it for a better one that's in the lots and they could sign up and do it. Now the people down the line would have got rid of the real junk cars that have no credit to buy them. The people that had credit got a discount to buy another one, and it stimulated people. Now everybody would be driving better cars. The economics would have been perfect, and we would have helped out the automobile companies.
Ed, they want to know about your night vision goggles. Do you have a pair that you could show the viewers?
Can I?
Yeah.
I'll go grab a pair and I'll be right back.
All right,
Awesome.
thank you.
Okay, so if you girls need a potty break or anything.
Oh no, we're waiting for you.
Okay. I'm here.
Yay.
Oh yeah, the viewers are loving you.
Well, I think what it is that they're so used to going to a conference or hearing things, and they get part of the truth and they get part of the lie, and there's debunkers. They're out there that are telling people the wrong thing because they want to keep you in the dark. They don't want people like me to tell you the truth. And I'm going to guarantee you that I will pass a lie detector. I'll put my hand on a dozen Bibles, and you know, it is what I say. There's nothing wrong in what I'm saying or doing. And I hope that I survive telling the truth, because we live in a world where you can be killed for telling the truth.
Right.
Well, I don't care. I don't want to get killed, but I don't want to live a lie.
Show us your goggles.
Right here. You got to put another quarter in the machine, turner. Now, this is a pair of night vision goggles. This is my brand. It's called the EG7 or the EG8. And they're a kind of a copy of PVS7, which looks very much like this. And this is a magnifying lens. This puts up high power and it can slide over this. And then you put a camera on the back of here on the left side, because the cameras usually open up to the left, and then you look through the left eye, you spot it, and then you video it through the camera. And you can zoom it up 10, 20, 30 power. But if you overzoom, the pixelations go bad, and you don't get to do it. Now, this is a brand I developed so that I can sell them overseas without breaking the technology laws. But in the country, I can sell other ones that are just a little bit cheaper than this one. But these both work as good. And you need high quality. If you go out and buy a digital, it doesn't work as good. And it does not show you and give you the ability to film as well. But they can work. But as you're moving and looking at crap passing in front of the stars, you will find that they blur because of the pixels and the digital. But this is a tube looking through one piece, transferring to two, only needing one tube. So it's less expensive. And when it's less expensive, this will give you the ability to see better, move lightly. And I have a Skywatch Club that I've started, and I am a distributor for just about every company that's major and ability, because they love me, what I've done for their business, because they're selling night vision equipment off the wall.
Do they autofocus?
Huh?
Do they autofocus?
The goggles, you focus them yourself.
Oh, okay.
Autofocus is not good, because when you move and you have a bright star and a dimmer star, it gets all confused and it's in and out and it's just a mess. I hook these up into a goggle, into a camera, a hard drive. I use a tube or wire from the camera to a computer or a TV, or I record and then show it after. But if I got a large crowd of people, I have several pair of goggles, and then I put a camera onto the big screen TV and put it right out there with us and operate it with portable power, and people get to see it on the screen. Now in 2009, I went to the international conference as a speaker, and I put on night vision shows for people 5 nights a week. And I showed probably 600-700 people UFOs during those nights. And some looking over the camera, some sharing goggles. And man, I was the talk of that conference. And some even said good things. No. But anyway, I started in a fad, and I copyrighted and GoDaddied that night vision sky watches, UFO night vision sky watches, and that, so that it would be protecting me for what I'm doing. I'm the guy that developed it. I'm the guy that showed the world. And so now I get a number of people that have come around, learned a little bit, said they wanted to work with me and do some stuff. I try to work with them and that, and then I find out they just want to rip me off. And they go out and get goggles, go out and declare that they're a night vision sky watch and charging people, and they don't know what they're looking at. They don't know what they're showing people, but they're charging the money and wanting to climb off of my tail, you know.
Now, Ed, when you look through those goggles and you look in the skies, is that how you're seeing them fighting each other?
Yes, although the one time I saw them fighting each other was a special clear night, no pollution, no nothing, and it was so bright, and there was a lot of activity. In fact, it was 8 o'clock that night when I first saw the first battles at dark, and it was probably 5, 6 o'clock in the morning when I stopped seeing them, and I counted how many blew up and got killed when they took them out.
Are you able to see the aliens at the same time when you're looking at these ships?
No, that's too far out. The truth of it is, I've seen some things that I think could have been alien, but the truth of it is, I see the craft, I see the battles. I don't see if it's a green man or somebody who looks like Spock in there flying it around or battling it. And there has been some things that I've experienced that I'm not willing to talk about yet because I want to get regressed and find out the details and that. But I do things like practice and work on remote viewing, psychic things. There's just a whole world of what I've opened up into, and the things that I've learned and know is so unbelievable, I scare myself. And I don't want to be nutso and say, hey, there's ghosts everywhere, but there is paranormal. There are ghosts. There are spirits. And when you see a UFO and he just cloaks and disappears right above you and then reappears 50 miles away and you can see him through the power lens, is crazy. But I see him go up, disappear.
And okay, so if somebody bought a set of your goggles, could they just go out in their backyard or the front of their house and use those goggles and see a flying saucer, or do they need to get at a certain elevation?
No, I've seen them at sea level, and I've seen them at 7,000 feet from a mountaintop. They're all over the place. There's also satellites all over the place. And what you need to do is I try to train people on what's satellites, what's craft, how certain things move, fast and all that. There is so much that can be done. And I have gotten pairs of goggles for a couple, and within 2 weeks they're back getting another pair because they don't want to fight over the goggles. And they're so entertained, they see so much, and it's unbelievable. And the way it is. And I've got people all over the world now, in Switzerland, Iceland, Amsterdam, England, Paris, Spain, that have gotten goggles through me, and others that have gotten in other places. And there are people in Mexico. And I've had people 2 years ago call me up and tell me about the big battle they've been watching, and thank me for telling the truth so they could know what to look for, and then they found it.
Okay, Ed, another question. They're fighting in the sky and they're fighting each other. Somebody had asked, and I just saw it for a minute.
Why don't you find parts?
No, why aren't they doing any destruction on here on Earth?
Well, okay. I have never seen them fight down in the atmosphere. I have seen them flying in our atmosphere. But I've only seen them fighting out in space, like 100, 150 miles, 200 miles out, that area. When they hit each other, then they blow up, they destruct, and the pieces burn up further away. When they've traveled and started to drop back into Earth, they burn up. And now, the other thing is, what are they fighting about? I don't know. But we know, back Alexander the Great's day, they were fighting, and he said they were blowing each other's chariots up with bolts of lightning. Now, to me, that's a laser beam. Now, I saw it in 1961. People in Nuremberg, Germany saw it in 1561. And people in Mexico City saw it 2 years ago and reported it. And many people never saw it. But you see, there's been fighting going on for a long time. And I just have a suspicion that we have been sent to Earth, that we have came from different corners of the galaxy.
Do you think we're aliens, Ed?
Well, I don't know if you want to call us aliens, but I think you might call us humanoids.
Okay.
And that's why some humanoids are Oriental, some are Korean, some are Spanish, some are black, some are, Scandinavian.
So what's the
There's so
difference? What's the difference between an alien and a humanoid? What does humanoid mean? I mean, what is the
Well, I
definition?
think there are aliens that look like the E.T., the little guy that flew the bicycle up with the movie and E.T. Call Home. And I think that there's that type of aliens. Just like other creatures here on Earth, there's a duck, there's a goose. And, different cats of all kinds of nature. And I believe that in space, that there's been fighting going on for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe we are the nest to re-support other planets or other places that get wiped out or battled.
Okay.
We are the fish farm.
Okay.
Now, but at the same time, we may be an experiment. Bring us here, guard us from outside, blow up those trying to get in, or waste us, or have theirs taken over. Protect us. How about guardian angel for a term? Who's flying those craft? Who's firing? Who's blowing it up? Well, I think we've joined in on helping protect us. But at the same time, it could be corrupt with the Nazis and the others trying to go out and take the universe back. Because the Aryan race claims to have been in control out there. before.
Mm.
Now, I don't know what to believe or what not to believe, but I do know that this experiment is not doing well right now. And that when somebody kills millions of Jews, or somebody wants to starve a bunch of Africans, or they want to have a civil war between white people and brothers killing brothers and not getting along, there's something really wrong. And when they pitch us against each other and create a war so they can make money and develop more weapons, that's a crock of crap, and I can't go for that. I mean, kill me today, kill me tomorrow. I'm going to stand up and tell the world this is not right. And you should already know it's not right, unless you're worshiping Satan or, evil, or you want to destroy things and take over, and your own greed and your own needs has taken your morals away. And, it's just a problem of trying to tell you and other people the truth, because I say it so well and I don't stutter, and it's easy to tell the truth. And remember what I say, I might look half crazy, but I'd rather be half crazy than totally dumb. And people who think that nothing's out there and they got nothing to worry about, and somebody else is protecting their human race, and somebody else is doing this and somebody else is doing that, just walk downtown and find out who's protecting you. You get hit in a crosswalk, you could be robbed, you could be mugged, you could be whatever. So something is helpful, but you're still on your own. And it's kind of a survival of the fittest. And there's a food chain on the planet Earth. Unless we swim in the wrong water and the shark gets us, we're usually not part of that food chain. Or we get out of our boundary and we're hiking on the wrong mountain lion trail. And then you're going to find out we're not so superior. When the lion's chewing your leg off, you're going to say, whoops. And we have to look out for ourselves. But we have to look out for each other.
Right.
And unless we form governments of alliance with the people in France, the people in Germany, the people in Iran, they don't want to battle. And they need to stand up with each other and say, look, on the internet, on the YouTube, whatever, we are people, we are brothers, and we don't want to blow each other up. We don't want civil war. We want our children to get educations. We want us to grow up. We want to develop to where we can become the superior race we could be, and maybe move out into space, respected and knowledgeable, and not blow everything up in sight because we want to see how big a boom it is. So, night vision goggles, I'll sell you a pair, but I don't want to sell you a cheap pair that's not going to do what you want, because if you're not happy, then I'm not happy.
And so,
I get different goggles. I need different goggles that will work, from 1800 to 3200, and some of the better ones. If you join my Skywatch Club, like a $20 membership, and then whenever Skywatches are around, you can come to one, or you can take part or get a discount.
Awesome.
And I give quite a quality discount to the people that are club members, because that's my legal way of lowering the price to help you get goggles and make a little bit less and help me do my research. And that's just the way it is. It's nothing any different, any better. And I mean, I get really upset and I get really disturbed because I have a conscience and I have a brain. It's not a good one. I could use a better. But when somebody writes on the boob tube and says, oh, I'm a liar, I'm a fake, I this or I did that or whatever, and then I'm a real anal orifice, And don't even put their name there. Don't even give me a chance to talk or say, well, why? Why do you say that? And you know how hard it is to answer 100 to 200 phone calls in a day and answer a couple hundred emails and try to tell people the truth? It's exhausting me. And I'll be 68 if I make it to March. But you know, if I don't, at least I am telling you the truth. And if you want to call me a liar, it's one thing. But if you want to prove me one, you got your work cut out.
And it was a pleasure having you on the show tonight. You were absolutely fascinating. I had no idea. I just wanted you to do one more thing. Will you just show your video? Ed, you just, you know, what is the name of that movie that you made?
UFO Wars.
It says UFO.
There we go. Perfect.
And it's just a kind of a small short movie. Tells you details of things happening. Shows you 7 spacecraft about 200 miles up over Albuquerque, New Mexico. I was at a Tesla science meeting. Richard Hoagland's girlfriend, Robin, was there. There was a lot of well-known people there. And they got to see it on the screen, played live. And then they got to see 15 other craft zooming by in formation, chasing after some others about 200 miles up. And the ones that went out of the craft was like as if they were going out of this big other craft patrolling. And the man who needs a lot of credit is George Derokian. And he was on the camera filming with my goggles, and other people were watching. But George has big, thick glasses, and he sees fairly well, but there was a big ship stopped and was looking like a star. And they were dropping out of her and flying off, and she was stopped. And then as she flew away, he was filming them flying in this group. And there were 7 of them showed in the film, but there was an 8th one that bailed late, and he was going real fast trying to catch up to the other ones going across space. And you could see plain that they are big flying saucers. And there's a moth to in front of the camera. You could see the moth. You could see stars. I mean, no dithering, no messing with the film. And accountable witnesses there. And this happens many times on my Skywatch, that I take people out and I show them things and I explain what it is, why it's flying that way, and watch it, it's about to turn, or there's another one coming at it that they might battle, or they might move around each other, depends if they're on the same team. I have showed people craft get blown up, then showed the other craft fly away, and then the other one's debris capsule, like an escape pod, come on and start flashing, and have others come and pick it up and haul it away. 3 craft came and picked it up, hauled it away, and it was a half a moon, and they came from over here and flew out into space as far as I could see them, heading straight up in the
Wow.
Ed, I have a question from Ruth, one of the viewers, and she wants to know, do you see them every night?
I can see craft any night that you can see up, but sometimes not a lot, and sometimes a lot. And I see some spacecraft and a few satellites, but a lot of what I see is patrol craft. And I mean, when NASA says there's 27 satellites going to come over Calistoga, and I got a group of 10 people, or 15 or whatever, and we're looking and we're pointing at this and that and whatever, and in an hour and a half or 2 hours we count 150. Well, something's wrong. It's not satellites because it's UFOs.
Wow.
Listen, I have footage, and William Rowling, who studied with me, and been going out on skywatches. We call him UFO Bill, Big Bill. He needs a lot of credit. You might have heard him on some of this stuff, but he'll be showing them and videoing them. And he'll say, my brother, light me up, show me a sign. And they'll turn on a lighting 4 or 5 times in a row, or they'll stop. And then they'll start out a couple minutes later, or one will come streaking down and past another one and zip over. It fired, it blew the other one up. It just came apart in the sky. He's got a lot of good footage. A lot of people are putting good footage out on YouTube, and people are buying cameras from other people or from me, and they're doing what I'm saying and asking them and trying to train the world. And believe me, exposure is coming, and it's coming by way of nightmares and video. And I don't expect the government's ever going to open its mouth and say, oh yeah, we've had UFOs captured since 1928, and we've back engineered, and we got our own fleet. You know, we got 3,000 out there, and Gary McKenna heard me talking, and he looked on computers and things and found out I was telling the truth, because he didn't need to break the codes. He just walked in the door. And our government was so stupid, they didn't cover their butts. And McKenna got the information that there was over 3,000 spacecraft through the Navy and secret government controlled, flying in and out of deep space, going out on patrol, protecting planet Earth and back. And Mark Richard, he's in prison because he wanted to stop flying those patrols, and he was quitting. And his friend got killed with a screwdriver, and they said it was his screwdriver. They framed him up and gave him life in prison. And his wife is trying to expose it, trying to get him pardoned. And he knows a lot more than he can tell because he sworn to a secrecy with the United States government. But when it was international space program, his father was running and leader of it, who took Admiral Nimitz' place and was in control of the secret space program. Now, you know, believe me if you want to. I have no reason to try to make anything up or try to sell you anybody goods, because it's not so. And like I say, if you want to set up a lie detector test, have it viewed, video, watched, have whoever it is running the show legitimately, I'll put it all back out there again and tell you the way it is. And then if you don't believe me, it's still not. So.
Okay, we might do that. I want you to come back on the show.
Yes, definitely.
The viewers want you back. So we're booked through October, so I'll get a hold of you and I'll have you come back on the show and let's talk about some other subjects, okay? Ed, you're fascinating. The viewers loved you. And for a last minute guest, thank you for accepting my invitation.
Something in the future for you to look forward to and think about. I want you to wake up dreaming about it, okay? I rescued a girl that had been captured, and she said it was our government that took her for her blood type.
Wait a minute, she was captured by an alien?
No, by our government.
No,
Oh, by the government.
And that they were working on a hybrid program and breeding humans with aliens. And I rescued her from a gas station, crawling out the back window with a government car in front standing guard. And I took her off, and they tried to find us and follow us. We had to wrap her with aluminum foil around her bracelet and things. And she gave me a lot of detail, a lot of information, where she was from, and that she had 2 hybrid children, and that she was pregnant with the 3rd, but they did her cesareans to take them out because of the head size. And then they start to look more normal later. and she loves her children, wanted to be with them, but she was trying to escape to see her parents. And they caught her once a block away from her home. And I gave her a wig, shoes, change of clothing, cut a bracelet off of her, did all these things to help her. She would not let me take her to her hometown to try to contact parents because she was afraid that it would get me killed. And I told her that's okay. You know, it's a cause to die for. You know, I didn't die in Vietnam, I didn't die in the military, and if you have to die, do it for a good reason. And you know, we might come back. There's all sorts of things about paranormal, living an extra long lives, reincarnation. And I study all that stuff, and I just am a load of information.
Oh, yeah.
Some people think I'm a load of crap.
Oh, no.
We believe
you know
you.
what? The next show will go into that because I'm really in awe of you. I mean, you're fascinating and you're a great speaker.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
You
Ed.
know, it's easy to speak when you're telling the truth. It just flows.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was hurt in the military. I was paralyzed for a while. I was blinded and unconscious, almost froze to death from 8 o'clock at night till 2:30 in the morning. And a fellow found me because he was cutting across the air base in the cold winter snow of northern Michigan at 40 below zero. And he found me after being there. And my fingers were frozen, my toes were frozen, my cheeks, my face. I couldn't see, I couldn't move, I could talk. And I was painfully dying from cold. And believe me, when I tell you that's painful, you don't want to experience it. But I got rescued. And when I got rescued, I found out because he was looking for a pack of cigarettes. And he came, stepped on me, covered in snow, and found me. So if he wasn't a smoker, I'd been frozen to death and buried long ago. So all I can say is smoking saved my life.
Yeah.
And that's kind of...
That's a first. That's the first. Well, Ed, thank you so much again for being on the show tonight. I just can't tell you, I just can't thank you enough. It was just a real pleasure. And I would love to have you come. We would love to have you come back.
To.
And I will contact you. I got your phone
Well,
number.
you're not far away from me. I'm about an hour and a half away. And maybe we could set something up at your location, lie detector, the availability, and show me live right there.
Hey, no, you know what I would love to do? I'd love to have you go into a regression. That's what I would love, on camera.
Wait a minute, you want to find out about all those women?
Hell
Yeah.
They all were banned before it was too late.
Hey, would you do that? Would you go into regression and talk about this UFO stuff?
There's a scary story, okay? And I remember talking to some people when I was in the military. I tell them there's UFOs, there's this and there's that, whatever. And I can vaguely remember them saying they wanted to talk to me about an interview. And there was people in a room and a lot of things covered up. And that I can't tell you that it was around 2 years before I could hardly remember anything. And when I started remembering it, it was scary. And the last thing I could remember was them having syringes, needles, and talking to me. And a fellow that I recognize now, that people say he interrogated you in the military and found information. And I have sat next to him at conferences and told him I know you from someplace. He goes, oh, maybe. And I says, did you ever interrogate me? He says, oh, I would never tell that if I did. But what do you think? And I says, I think you did. And he smiled. He says, maybe.
Mm.
And so I don't have any use for that person. And it was manipulating and that I've heard that he has broken a woman's nose during interrogation and different stuff. And I've had people that were CIA that came to me, told me about the Air America programs, what different things have been done. There's been people tell me who's playing good guy and who's a really bad guy, and who misinformation is. And I've been clued in, warned, and looked after by so many people. It's all so like it just all in some ways it looks like I have a lot of guardian angels, but also you don't know which one of them is going to fall. So a lot of conferences you go to, you'll get a lot of truth, but you'll also get a lot of liars there, a lot of people saying things that's not really true, and some people knowing that they're not telling you the truth because they're part of the game. And we buy tickets and we show up and we listen and that. And, you know, you've got to start sorting out who's real and who's not.
Exactly.
So,
Ed, we got to end the show, honey.
it's okay.
Oh my God. Okay. Again.
Now you said the word, it's okay.
Oh. Ed, say goodnight to the viewers.
Good night, viewers. And listen, I'm only half crazy, and they like me, so they started my own program around the world. It's called Special Ed.
Oh, Ed, good night. Thank you so much. Viewers and all our friends, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I hope you enjoyed the show. I found it very fascinating. We are going to have Ed come back, and maybe you'll come to the house. I think I'll get Ed to come to the house.
Awesome.
Okay?
All right.
And so everybody, we're going to say good night.
Good night.
And thank you so much again for joining us. Good night, everyone. Good night, Ed. Thank you so much.
Yeah, have people call me if they'd like.
Okay. I've posted your website several times.
Okay.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thanks.